Totally, especially with this kind of music. You can hear all the instruments. You can hear Jimmy Bohemian's guitar, which is outstanding. I love the tone he gets out of the guitar. And the rest of the band is phenomenal, too. Who's the other members of the band? Can you just give them a shout-out? Because I don't think we mentioned it before we started talking to you.
What's that? Say that again.
I said we didn't mention the other band members before we started talking to you, so can you tell us a little bit about them real quick?
Yeah, no worries. We have obviously myself, Dean Foxx. I've been around for quite a lot of years, just scutting around doing different bands, and I've had nominal success doing this, that, and the other, but nothing quite as special as what we're doing now in this band, and I'm grateful for being in it and for being a founding member. Jim, our guitarist, I've known Jim now for about 8-9 years, and when I met him, I was just walking past. I was in a rehearsal studio, and I was walking past a room, and he was just in there playing the guitar on his own in this room. And I just opened the door because it was just the most phenomenal guitar player and I've heard for a very, very long time. And that's how we met. We met just me just walking past the room in a rehearsal studio, and I walked in and started talking to him, and that was that. The bass player of our band, Lee Byrne. He's actually my half-brother. We share the same mother, and he's a little younger than I am, a little bit more tempestuous, but he's certainly a driving force in the band. And when it comes to Danny on the drums, Danny's just a virtuoso. He's a complete virtuoso. You've only heard maybe a tenth of what that man can do. He can play. He can play for the earth. That guy could walk into a virtuoso band like Toto and just walk it, and it's absolutely amazing. And the four of us have been together now for about 4 years. The band Knockout Kaine's been knocking around for about 7 years, but the four we don't even count the stuff beforehand. The moment that the four of us got together, that was when the band really, for us, was formed, and we've been inseparable ever since. It's been amazing.
So you guys are based out of Midlands in the UK, and what's the music scene like there?
Right, well, the Midlands in the actually the UK music scene is good. It is a good scene. There are a lot of really good venues. The UK scene, it's not really geared up for the kind of music that we play. But we never got into it for being a commercial force. The UK is a really hard market to crack, anyway. But to be fair, it's not about that. It's about the fact that we wanted to write the music that we wanted to write, and do the stuff that we wanted to do. And with any luck, we could get it out there, and people would start taking notice, which they are, and we're really grateful for that. But the scene in the UK, there's a lot of indie stuff in the UK, a lot of people into bands like, and I'm not knocking this because I do love this kind of band, bands like Oasis and stuff like that, and that's kind of cool because it is rock and roll, but it's not what we do, obviously. And there's a massive pop music scene, obviously, and the commercial music scene in the UK is kind of like tied up with lots and lots of pop, highly produced pop music, and although I'm not going to slag it off, there's a place for that stuff, but it's just not where we're at, and I would rather take ourselves to the wider world and be appreciated, and then if we catch fire here at some point, that would be great. But to be honest with you, I just want to be doing the music and getting it to as wider audience as possible. And the UK is going to be a tough one, but we'll see about that.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about this album of yours and some of the songs that are on this particular album, one of which we're going to be playing a little bit later on the show, and we've already had it in the rotation here on the radio station and gotten a really good response for it, and that's Coming Home. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure the song's pretty self-explanatory, but you got any words you want to discuss about Coming Home and what was the motivation for writing that song? Because I noticed that that's one of the few songs on the album that you actually wrote the music and the lyrics for, so I'm sure this is kind of personal to you.
Yeah, it is a personal song. I remember it wasn't while I was with Knockout Kaine. I got the idea for the song. And when Knockout Kaine was first formed, that's when I wrote the song. But just before then, I was in another band, and we were touring all over the place. You know, touring in Europe and some places in the wider world. And I was spending a lot of time away from home. I'm the only guy in the band that's got a family, so I've got a wife and a child and stuff. And at the time when the song was written, my wife was pregnant with my little boy, and I was away for a long time touring. So I think it got to be like 2 months into a tour, and I was in fact I can tell you where I was. I was in Portugal at the time. And I just had my acoustic guitar with me. I was in a hotel room, and I thought, well, I'm just going to have to get these feelings out of me. And you know, it's kind of cliched, and it's kind of the thing you say, yeah, well, you would say that, or whatever. But this is absolutely true. I just sat there, banged out a few chords, and then started writing the lyrics. And you know, within sort of like 30 minutes, the entire song was written from start to finish, and it was kind of like for me, like a personal exorcism, getting rid of the demons and stuff, I think that's why it's such a heartfelt song, and it really is a heartfelt song, and people do tend to relate to that, and we've even had a sort of like a servicemen from Great Britain, and also servicemen from you know, people in the army and stuff from the States have actually come to us and given us messages on our website and stuff, saying that we appreciate this song because we feel exactly the same way when we're away for such a long time and all the rest of it, and that's pretty cool as well. You know, I think that's an amazing thing.
Well, I think if the song gets an opportunity to hit the airwaves and gets played, I think potentially this could be a phenomenal hit for you guys, because it's a beautiful song, it's a great song, and you know, truth be told, had you guys come out in the mid to late 80s, this song would have been blaring over everybody's radios. That's how good this particular song is. So I think a phenomenal song right there. And the second song I wanted to ask you about, which is the other song we're going to be playing as well, is Little Crystal. What can you tell me about that particular track, which is actually one of my favorite tracks on the album as well?
Okay, Little Crystal's incredibly dark. It's a very dark song. I mean, people have interpreted it in their own way, and you know, when you write a lyric, you do hope that whether they get what the song's about or whether they don't get what it's about, one would hope that someone could relate to it in some way. And people have put their own interpretations on it, but the actual truth of the matter is, a few years ago I went through a very, very dark time with alcohol and drugs and stuff, and it's about that. It's about Little Crystal is about Little Crystal. People can say it's about a girl, people can say that, but it's not. It's about Little Crystal. And I went through a very dark time. You know, for like two or three years of my life was very, very, very dark. And it was actually my wife and really the birth of my little boy and that brought me out of it. And now that's it's all behind me. But it's a dark song. It's all about drug abuse and about being in a place that no one actually should ever be in, and also about the fact that if you have the right motivation, you can get yourself out of it. You know.
I went to your webpage earlier today, or website, sorry, knockoutkaine.com, and went through the music, went through the band bios and everything. Then I came across the merchandise section. You guys have a ton of merchandise for sale on your webpage.
Yeah.
Did you guys come up with all those ideas, or was there somebody else who came up with everything?
Well, we have a very good friend of ours in Sweden who does PR for us and does all the graphic design for us. And he lives in Sweden now. He's married to a Swedish girl. He's got a Swedish little child of his own out there, and he runs a graphic design company out there, but he's from our tiny little city in the UK where we come from, and we didn't know him before Knockout Kaine was out there. He listened to the music online and stuff, and then he got in touch with us, and we became really great friends. And he's been over to see us. We've even had him up on stage singing with us at certain points. He's got a good voice as well, great voice. And his name is Duncan Gray, and he runs this graphic design company, and he's taken time out of his schedule to do all that stuff, you know, just for us. and we're very grateful for that. To be honest with you, but he's a big fan of the band, but more than that, he's a good friend now. You know.
I just wanted to mention some of the stuff that you have on there because I thought it was kind of funny in a way. You have cooking aprons, women's string thongs.
Those are nice, by the
You
way.
have hip hugger underwear. You have dog T-shirts for small dogs and big dogs.
Oh yeah.
You have a tote bag.
Yeah.
You have caps, of course, umbrellas, coffee mugs, bandanas. But the one thing I think that maybe you can tell Duncan that he needs to make for you is a beer cozy. So when you're out and about drinking your beer, you got the Knockout Kaine logo on the beer.
I think that's a really, really very, very good idea. And you know what? I know for a fact that he's listening right now. He's heard that. He's heard that. In fact, as soon as this interview's over, I'll be on Facebook, and I'll guarantee you there'll be a message up saying, "Hey, what a great idea."
Well, not only that, but I have to tell you, Dean, the only you're up there, you rival right now Gene Simmons with Kiss with merchandising. I mean, right now we're gonna have the Knockout Kaine army.
Well, we're thinking.
I mean,
the action figures are coming soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, once the action figures coming, once the action figure Dean, action figure Jimmy, and Lee and Danny coming with accessories and stuff, that would be really cool. Some action figures, maybe.
I think that's something we have to look into straight away.
And for
just as long as I've got the physique of Spider-Man, I'll be fine.
And I think for the people in the United States, since we like our beer cold in ice, maybe have it on a ice chest for us. That'd be great.
Yeah, an ice chest with Knockout Kaine would be great as well.
That's beautiful. I love that. That's beautiful.
Okay, well, it'll bring us to our...
We're going to get it all done.
Okay, so let Duncan know that we're looking forward to that stuff. And we got one last question, which we do on Hard Rockology every week. And Matt, go ahead this week.
All right, Dean. This is the question we ask all our guests. We have to ask you, what is your Spinal Tap moment?
There are many Spinal Tap moments, my friend. Many. I think that there's one that comes to mind right now, I went into London and to get some new stage clothes. And we were on tour at the time. It wasn't Knockout Kaine. It was the band that I was in before Knockout Kaine. And we were supporting a UK band called Tiger Tails. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, I've heard of Tiger Tails.
Yeah. And we was on tour supporting Tiger Tails. And I'd gone down to London to try and find some new stage clothes for this particular show that we were doing in London. And I went into Kensington Market, and I found these patent leather jeans which cost the earth, but I love them, and they have these silver buckles down the side. But they were so tight, so damn tight, that you couldn't wear underwear with them. So I bought them, and I squeezed myself into them for the night on stage. And we were playing at this venue, and we were on stage. It must have been the third song in, and there's all these people at the front of the stage, and there's loads of girls at the front of the stage and stuff. And this third song in, and all the girls are pointing at me, sort of like with big smiles on their faces and stuff, and laughing and joking and having a good laugh. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, baby, you love me, yeah, get it. I'm going to say, oh yeah, I was laughing it up. And it was only about maybe 30 seconds later that I realized that the jeans had split and my penis was hanging out. And it must have been there for maybe 30 seconds to a minute before I even noticed what was going on, and then stuffed it back in and muddled myself through to the end of the set. But yeah, that's my biggest Spinal Tap moment, I think, possibly.
Well, you know what, Dean? It's ironic that you said that. I had a guest on the show last week, Rick Stitch.
Kind of said the same thing.
Hotel Diablo.
I know Rick well.
Yeah, he basically had the same story to tell as well. He was with Adler's Appetite, and the same thing happened with him as well.
Oh my God, that wasn't on the same tour that we did with them, though, was it?
It could have been. He was on here last week doing a show promoting his concert.
I believe it was recently, the last tour you did with Adler's Appetite. You probably were. It was probably on the same bill.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
And both lead singers had the same problem.
I tell you what, I love Rick a bit, but I've just got to be jealous of his $1 million smile, which he hasn't even had made for him. Amazing.
No, he's a great singer, but you're equally as great. And like I said, I appreciate, as does my brother, you doing this interview. And we're going to do our stuff on our end to keep promoting this album out here in the States. And one last question: do you guys have any plans possibly to make it here in the States, or is that something too far down the road right now?
No, it's not really. You know, we can't say too much about it. But we've had a very major PR company from the States approach us just recently, and I can't say who it is right now because I don't know where we're going to go with that. But I think that we will be coming to the States far sooner than we thought we would. I think we were thinking that we probably wouldn't be getting over to the States until sort of like mid next year, but I think that it will be early. I think it will be January, February, March time, and I think we'll be over and doing PR and then probably doing a tour.
Great.
All right, well, we're going to keep an eye out for you guys, and best of luck to you guys and the guys in the band, and looking forward to hearing some more stuff from Knockout Kaine. So thanks a lot, Dean. Appreciate it. And you want to take us out with...
have them introduce the next song. Which one is it? We're playing Coming Home, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Dean, why don't you introduce your song, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Ready?
That's absolutely fine. I tell you what, it's been an absolute pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is one of, as far as I'm concerned, the finest songs on our album, although I think they're all beautiful. But this one, it's very heartfelt. Have a listen to it and enjoy. And we'll all see you later. This is Dean Foxx from Knockout Kaine signing off. Cheers, guys.
All right.
Cheers, man.
Thanks a lot, Dean. It's Coming Home off the new record.
She's waiting for me, feeling forlorn.